Hi guys, Toby here with the Physio Studio with the third video in our series discussing foot pain, where today we're going to be talking about some very simple assessments you can do on your own foot and ankle to see how they're functioning and how you can begin to improve that regardless of what type of foot pain you may be experiencing. So first of all, we need to think about how does a healthy foot and ankle function? How is your foot designed to work? And essentially, it moves like a tripod. There should be 3 points where your weight is evenly distributed between. These 3 points are the base of the first metatarsal, so the long foot bones we talked about before, the very base down here, the base of the fifth metatarsal, and the very center of your heel. And essentially, when you're doing most movements, weight should be at all times evenly distributed between these 3 points. So if you find you're rolling more onto the outside, rolling more onto the inside, or rolling more onto the heel, you need to work a little on balancing that up. The arch is how we distribute forces between these two. And there are often 2 main presentations we'll see with a foot. You will either have a very pronated or flat foot where you have quite a low arch. You'll even see the arch kind of bulging a little medially on this side, on the inside of the foot, or you'll have quite a supinated foot. So that's where I roll my foot upwards and outwards like this. You'll have quite a high arch. It'll look something like this, a very, very high arch here. But you might be quite rigid and not be able to actually bring that arch into any other position. Regardless of the position of your foot, what I'm more interested in how you can control that arch. So the way we assess this is in standing, you're going to place one foot in front of you, the other foot behind. We're not concerned with this back foot for the moment. And what I want to do here is think of those 3 points of contact we mentioned and try to bring them together. So I'm going to, without curling my toes, I squeeze my foot and I relax. You'll see how I raise the height of my arch and then relax. So I'm not rolling the foot outwards. I'm keeping these 3 points in contact with the floor the entire time, but I'm squeezing, I'm shrinking that triangle, and I'm relaxing. I'm squeezing and I'm relaxing. In a healthy foot, you should be able to do 10 of these without any issue. So if you're struggling with that, that's your first indicator that the arch is something you need to work on. The second piece of foot functioning we're going to look at is how do your toes move. So a lot of people never think about moving the toes. We jam them into shoes, we jam them into tight socks and never move them too much. And that can lead to stiffening of the forefoot, which can cause a lot of issues either with the toes or, as I mentioned, further back towards the heels. The 2 tests we can do here are, can you lift all 4 small toes without lifting your big toe or without rolling the ankles? And can you lift just your big toes without lifting your small toes and without rolling the ankles? So keeping your ankles very still, can you lift your small toes 10 times? Can you lift your big toes 10 times? Again, if not, then the forefoot is likely something you need to strengthen and loosen up, working on exercises like that. The third measure we're going to look at here is ankle flexibility. So if you think about it, if I have a very stiff ankle that doesn't allow my knee to travel very far past my toes, so I hit here and I hit a block, suddenly all the force that would have translated into that ankle as I move is going to have to go somewhere else. So it's going to put a lot more pressure kind of down into my foot and down into the tissues underneath that lead to my heel, like that plantar fascia we mentioned earlier that can lead to that heel pain. The way I'll assess your foot flexibility, you're going to come into a half kneeling position, something like this. So place a block under your back knee and your front foot is going to be close to a wall like this. Now the goal is that you should be able to fit your hand between your big toe and the wall and keeping your heel flat, be able to touch that knee to the wall. If you're struggling, if you're looking something like this, or if you're having to lift the heel, then your ankle flexibility is part of what's limiting this foot pain. The final measure we're going to look at is calf strength or ankle strength. So the measure we're going to use here are your heel raises or your calf raises. So essentially, what I'm looking for here is going to obviously differ depending on what you need to do with that foot, whether you're an athlete or a sedentary person. But I'll give you 2 measures either way. You're going to come onto a step or onto your stairs, and essentially on a single leg, so with one leg taking a weight, the other leg up in front like this, you should be able to drop right on down, feeling a stretch in the calf, and push on up with good control all the way down, and a good contraction on the way up without letting the knee bend at any stage. You're keeping the knee locked. You should be able to hit 10 repetitions here with good control for sedentary folk. And for athletes, we like to see them do this exact thing, but holding a dumbbell in their hand that weighs 25% of your body weight. That may sound like a lot, but if you think that in running, the ankle and forefoot can take up to 7 times your body weight, suddenly 25 doesn't seem that much. Have a look at these 4 tests and let me know how you get on.